You already know what it is. It's your girl, Cartier. And who else?
Oh, hi. It's Mobius.
But the co-pilot is co-pilot. Let's just start off with words that aren't real. The drinks ain't even start flowing. But it's lit. It's too lit. How lit?
The Lydius.
Faux lit. I don't even know what that is. Or what that means. I'm trying to start off on a good note.
Bussin'.
Rest in peace, Bernie Mac. Man, let me give a big shout out to the only one person that watched my Twitch streams and has been listening to us do technical difficulty just run throughs for the last 40 minutes, bro. I don't know why, but they just keep popping in for whatever reason. Anyway, you know what it is. Shady, Mobius. We back for another episode of the Unknown Unknowns Laboratory. And it's getting deep. I mean, I felt like the money episode was deep, but this is... It's deeper than rap. Right. Oh, yeah, I was just going to put it right here.
Okay.
Yeah. Because it was picking up your sound good anyway.
Yeah.
Same stuff every day. Shout out to Ant-Man. He definitely gave us one of the topics. And, I mean...
He decided to stick with us a little longer.
Hey! Banging with the gang.
Oof.
Banging with the gang. The disrespect. What was that? Look, this is the episode full of disrespect. So, you already know what it is. You know, we brown, you know, but we came from different households. And we have differing opinions. And I think that makes us a very interesting... Cut that out. I think that makes us a very interesting gang to listen to. So sit back, relax, drive in your car, fuck traffic. This is not for your kids at all. It's gonna get real deep.
We tried at one point. We're not even doing it.
We're not even, like what? I try to say ninjas. It just really don't flow out. But anyway, another deep episode. But as usual, we started off with some gaming news. Mobius is the star of gaming news. But I want to say, the name of this episode is for the gamers. Either you know or you don't know. And if you don't know and you feel left out, well then you need to check into some Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
That's all I want to say. Warning.
Home for Infinite Losers. HFIL. If you know, you know. Anyway. Alright, so for gaming news, we got, let's see, Sony announced its Project Q, which is their answer to the handheld system, not unlike the PS Vita, or at least that's what we thought. It's really just the controller, you know how like...
All the new systems, the DS, I mean not the DS.
No, because those are essentially tablets, but no, so you know how they have like the mobile gaming thing, and then you have the controller input to put to your phone, the controller dock. It's just
there's a dock.
Yeah, Husbando got one.
What?
It's the shape of a controller, and it holds your phone.
Oh, that one back in the day.
Right. Yeah. So Sony basically has made their own version
of that.
Yeah, and it's got
the joystick.
Basically, it's a DualShock controller, but for your 4-screen.
So an upgraded PS Vita. Because the Vita was the controller.
The Vita is the system itself, right. Not unlike the DS.
But I'm just saying it had buttons. It didn't have the joystick. But no, did it?
Yeah.
Or did it?
No, I don't remember. I don't think it did have.
Listen, I'm not a PlayStation fan.
Right. So it's just that. It's not the screen. It's just...
Okay, so it looks like
it looks like the controller.
It looks like the Wii U.
Yeah.
Or the new Wii U.
Yeah.
That's
the...
The new Wii U is just...
The Switch.
The Switch. The new Wii U. Listen, that might need to get cut out because it sounded so bad.
So it's just the...
Sony's Project Q.
Yeah.
Who cares? It looked like they put a screen in the middle of an Xbox controller.
I mean, that's kind of what they did. And so, but that's what people are saying. It's like, who cares? Like, if it's not like worth $50, why am I going to buy this thing? Because
how much is it?
They haven't listed a price yet.
I feel like they're gonna want $500.
Yeah, this is from May.
Or $3 to $500.
This is from May,
I'm not doing that.
It's probably going to be closer to like 2,
I ain't
3, 4, 5.
I'm a cheap.
But like, it's like, why? You know, so
I'm a cheap.
That's what's happening right there. We got.
That's not real life for me.
U.S. sues to block Activision Blizzard takeover by Microsoft.
Wait, try it again. Say that sentence again.
So some company it's the FCTC, the Federal Trade Commission.
Yeah, they're coming to see that you're spending your money right.
Yeah, basically, they have sued to stop Microsoft from buying Activision and Blizzard.
What?
Yeah, this is from MSN.
Wow.
It's from 3 hours ago.
This is deep. Bro, we've been talking about how it's on the line.
Yeah, the FTC filed on Monday in federal court in San Francisco seeking a restraining order and injunction to stop Microsoft's $69 billion purchase of Call of Duty's, publisher, which is Activision Blizzard.
This is crazy.
Microsoft has been struggling to win worldwide approval for the deal with just a month before the deadline to close it. According to the contract that's signed with Activision, yeah, that's not good. that's not good. And beforehand, I was on board with it. Like, hey, yeah, this is good. We need this. Games, Xbox. We don't, but it doesn't really affect us.
Disrespect.
But now I'm kind of like, because after Redfall, which is supposed to be a Microsoft first-party exclusive, or maybe it wasn't exclusive, but it was just a disaster. They put all their eggs in a basket to make that game, a good game, and it was a disaster. Like
made better choices. What are you doing with your money?
Right. So when stuff like that happens, that doesn't bode well for people who would support this merger. Like, you want to buy this. What's going to keep that from happening to Call of Duty? Just let them do their own thing. But also, I hate Bobby Kotick, so.
Wow.
Screw that guy.
The hatred in my heart.
Street Fighter 6 sets a high bar for Mortal Kombat 1 and Tekken 8. It's the year of the fighters, and if you want to throw down on some fighting games, then this is going to be a year, because we got Tekken 8, which is my, I'm a Tekken guy, so I'm looking forward to that. I didn't really like Tekken 7. I don't know what it is about every game after, like, Tekken 6, where the loading screens just took, like, an hour. And I didn't
if
really.
If we got a newer system, why are you going backwards and taking forever to do anything?
Well, no, I'm talking about even coming from the 360 moving forward in time. Like, after Tekken 4, which was on the PlayStation 2, Tekken 5, which was on the PlayStation and then Xbox, and then Tekken 6, it seemed like the loading screens just took longer and longer and longer. And I get it. It's online. You got a bunch of new technology and stuff, but it takes too long almost. Like, this is a fighting game. Why does it need to... They're not huge maps. The maps aren't as detailed as the ones in Tekken 4, where you could, like, literally in 3 dimensions. Besides, like, you weren't kicking people from different levels and stuff, but, I don't know what's happening. It just took very long. But anyway, so Street Fighter 6 came out, and people were very, 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 very happy with it. And that's a...
Street Fighter 6, word. Mm-hmm. Shout out to games that's really from my childhood, and it's been a part of other kids.
Now, to be fair, it's not the 6th Street Fighter. It's one of many, but it's in the mainline series, not any of the spin-offs. Street Fighter 6, and it's good. It's good, and with those other games looming on the horizon, I think that they have to come correct, because doing anything short of that is they're going to get crucified. In comparisons with, the next games that's coming out, like you gotta have a good balance of a strong character roster, and good a good roadmap for games going forward, for DLC, all that stuff.
You can't just have the vibe of I have a cult following.
Yeah, because that's not good enough.
Like, yeah, that'll get you a check, but not Like, come on.
Yeah.
You're gonna disappoint the fans. Like, let's keep it real. It's gonna be the parents buying it for their kids, thinking that I'm buying it for me, but I'm gonna let my kids play it, and then be like, yeah, what did I just pay for it? Like, Game Pass.
What about Game Pass?
I mean,
like games.
It's just easier to just not. It's so many trash games that's coming out. It's easier to just buy, to just get on, put your kid on Game Pass, or you as an adult get on Game Pass and be like, yeah, let me test this out first. And if it ain't on Game Pass, guess what? I ain't get to test it out. It's gonna take a lot for me to purchase it. Like, why should I?
Konami is supposed to release a collection of the first 3 Metal Gear Solid games later this summer, called the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1, which will include the first game, the second game, Sons of Liberties, and Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater HD Collection. This is in anticipation to the actual remake, which has just been confirmed as far back as May 24th. Konami is giving Solid Snake another go. This is from Polygon, and it's got a lot of people. It's got a lot of people excited because it essentially created the tactical espionage genre, just like Resident Evil created the survival. Not necessarily created the survival horror, but in terms of like in a game, zombies, all this stuff, it pretty much single-handedly made that genre.
This is the only game I ever saw like that in my youth, like being young and then growing up and being like, okay, I want to be a part of this.
Yeah,
but the movie franchise helped Resident Evil.
No, it was pretty well known at that point.
I just mean as far as keeping it relevant still, like
sure.
Because even now with they just did what it was like 8, 9, and 10 was new games, but we talked about it before, like. They just was remaking games, and they're still doing that to a point.
Yeah, they keep doing that. But Resident Evil, it was Resident Evil 4, then 5, and then I think the first Resident Evil movie came out. That was like in 2002, 2001. Anyway, the point being is, besides Splinter Cell, which came after Metal Gear, and like Dead Rising? No, Dead.
That is one of them.
Not Dead Rising. It's the arcade
zombie game.
Yeah. House of the Dead.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was the other one.
That's one of them jumps that just threw me back with the. You could go buy a gun on that first Xbox that came out. You bought the little gun and you got that jump. Y'all was in there busting at the screen like back in the day when you was a kid.
So the
straight arcade style.
The first Resident Evil movie came out in 2002.
So good. So good. I was in high school. So good.
But the games have been out coming out since the 90s.
Oh yeah, I was way too young to be saying that. We talked about that before.
Oh yeah,
games we shouldn't have seen. Shouldn't have played.
Same with what game was that? Mortal Kombat, and that goes back to what we just talked about. The next Mortal Kombat's coming out. It looks good. My cousin's very excited for it.
I thought it was already out.
This is Mortal Kombat 1.
Oh yeah, that one that we talked about. Yeah.
So it looks good. I'm not a Mortal Kombat guy, but I know people who are.
Right, I'll get my butt whipped. I'm not playing that. Yeah. All right, but we got,
Yeah. Besides that, we got some controversy on Call of Duty.
Man, shenanigans. And shout out to Ant-Man again for contributing this story. Appreciate you so much, man, because this is definitely something you already know. That the unknown unknowns what we vibe with, like, it's unacceptable. Go ahead, Mobius, get into it.
So, Nick Merckx is a professional Call of Duty player with MLG. He plays a bunch of other games and stuff like that, but he's a professional gamer, essentially. That's his job.
So awesome.
He said...
I look up to you, sir.
They said gamers would never amount to anything. Anyway,
you are my hero.
Yeah. So he said some things very recently based on some, it's Pride Month, Pride Week, all this stuff.
So anybody can get it right now.
Right. So he said some things that Call of Duty and Activision didn't quite agree with, and he has a bundle, an operator bundle, similar to the soccer players that had their character skins in game. He was
That
supposed to
is
have
so
one.
freaking cool.
Yeah, he was supposed to have one, and then it was quietly removed because of what he had said. But since then, and this is on Game Rant, Nick Merckx's Twitter following explodes amid controversy. So there's a lot of people who, are feeling what he's saying, or at the very least they're, following him just to see what was said. But we won't repeat that here. That's up to you guys. You guys can go ahead and take a look. But it was something to do with pride, and it was something that he didn't agree with. And he says, since his tweet, he says he's clarified what he meant by stating he didn't mean to upset anyone, and the removal of this operator bundle has been a loss to Nick Merckx and his content creation career. But he has seen an increase in over 51,000 Twitter, and it might, it could be bots.
Yeah, and I do want to say the statement. Are we saying this because the shadow ban? Like, why?
Kind of.
Because it's not like a whole statement. It's just.
It's either way. Like the stuff we already talked about is enough to get a shadow ban, but there's not enough eyes on it.
That's why I feel like I really want to say it. But if you feel like it's for the best, I feel like we've made that statement before, but not referencing somebody else. It's been like. How we feel, like real talk, like.
But so in response to that though, Call of Duty removes Tim the Tatman skin. In addition to that, but he requested that his skin was taken down in support of
Merckx.
Yes,
that's what's up, because it's about more than like, man. We already had this conversation. YouTube is number one, but we get kicked off of YouTube. Look, that's the whole point of having backup plans. We getting to know Discord. We on Twitch right now too. Like, come on, Joe. Freedom of speech is so important. And look at Facebook with the election and COVID. Bro, we can't let them dictate the reality. Like, we can't.
So this says, after his tweet on June 7th, Activision removed the Nick Merckx skin from Call of Duty, pushing many streamers, including Herschel, Dr. Disrespect, to uninstall the game. Now Tim the Tatman skin is also gone from the joint store, and cut that out. In order to show support for his friend, the streamer had asked Activision to remove his skin as well, and Activision delivered in less than 24 hours. It says,
with a quickness.
Nick has been my friend for years. We went in getting our COD operators together. It feels wrong for me to have mine and him no longer have his. In support of my friend, please remove the bundle. And then they did. This was met with mixed reactions as people were enraged at the developer for not respecting personal views, whereas others applaud Activision for standing shoulder to shoulder with the LGBT community. Neutral fans of the game are just upset about losing operator skins and not purchasing them in time. It's not clear it's unclear what would happen to the existing skins in players' inventory, but they'll likely continue to exist as rare items.
Right, because you can't. The
could
people
take
who already purchased them, you can't take them back from them, or you owe them some money.
You got to pay them. You got to refund them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
Microsoft don't want that, huh? You'll stop making future money, but you don't want to lose the money you already got.
It's probably not in a big enough. Like in terms of number of people who bought it, it's probably not significant.
Probably not. Only his 6.7 million followers.
Well,
if that's even that many, I get it. I get it.
Well, no, I mean that assumes all of them bought it. Of
course. I'm just saying there's more. There's other people who support him that ain't following him.
Yeah.
Like,
but that's.
I hate to say it. It's hella shows that I'm not subscribed to.
We have some other game news, but that's really all the big stuff I got.
Yeah.
What else?
Thanks, Mobius.
Thanks.
Wow.
Chance.
What?
From
the robber? Sorry, no.
No. Mario Party.
The robber?
Chance from Mario Party.
Alright, so we got that gaming news out the way. The Call of Duty thing is I just can't get with the the whole people can't have their own opinion. It's not, he didn't even say anything hateful. So I'm gonna let that go. Anyway, on to this asteroid news. So apparently Newsweek published this. I don't even know if that's a reputable source.
Newsweek?
Yeah.
None of them's reputable anymore.
No, but Newsweek's been around for like 30 years.
No, I'm just saying, like,
Probably.
they're all the people who used to publish good news, like Watergate and yada yada.
What if this guy?
They all have
name dropping shit that I do not know what he's even talking
Nixon,
about.
Watergate.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that was a big deal in the 60s and 70s, and that was Washington Post, New York Times, all those guys. They all fell for the Iraq War. They all fell for the Pentagon Papers. They all fell for and just kind of have been losing credibility in the mainstream media. So like when you say that, it's like haha joking, but also kind of not really. So. Yeah.
Alright, well, they published on June 9th at 7:11 a.m. 7:11 of all times. Asteroid larger than the Empire State Building to pass Earth on Monday. But see, when I Googled it, it's like 50 articles, like some from 2022, 2021. Why is they referencing every large asteroid ever to the size of the Empire State Building? Like, I understand it's huge. But why are they all shaped or as big as that?
Because that's what Americans do.
You guys are annoying. You couldn't think of anything else to reference?
Nope. It's football stadiums or a big building in New York.
Nah. New York, New York. Okay, anyway. So yeah, that shit is supposed to hit us and destroy the entire Earth. Except it's not gonna happen. So in 1994, they named the asteroid 488453. They're so silly. And it's huge. I mean, if they're comparing it to the Empire State Building, obviously. The Empire State Building is 1,200 feet tall. And this is 13. Empire is 1250. Anyway, it's super huge. They said it's going to hit us, but guess what? There's really nothing to worry about because we already put a plan in place years ago. 2021, they launched this DART thing, and it's out there. They didn't say anything about how the test went, but the purpose of the DART satellite bomb thingamabob is to go hit asteroids dead in the middle to knock them off course so they won't destroy the Earth. So anyway, if you didn't know, now you know. We could have died several times already, but you know, they're working on things. Anyway, that movie that came out last year about them needing to get a spaceship to go into space to see what was popping, but the U.S. didn't have any fucking spaceships, and then they had to go get the spaceship, steal it out of the museum. Wow.
I don't remember
that was very educational. It was a hilarious movie. I think I took, Google Chrome, Sharon.
And you said, anyway. What else? What else are we talking about? What else we got?
Canada.
We have
Canada to try to destroy the DMV with all this smoke. They talk about you go outside. It's like smoking 80 packs of cigarette in an hour. What the hell? I had to go out that day too, and I felt shitty because I had to take my baby out. Like,
so to be fair,
fuck, cold red.
The west coast of the U.S. is always on fire. And they get their fair share.
We don't have those problems. Except now, thanks to Canada.
Right.
Blame Canada.
So, Canada's wildfires are a warning of the East Coast smoky future. Extreme, smoke from the wildfires in Canada traveled as far as Norway. That's from the Smithsonian.
Damn!
They had like some 40 fires.
Canada?
Yeah.
How many acres, bro?
Don't know. Let's see.
That's a lot. That's still crazy though. 40 freaking fires. You went all the way. You done left your country. Canada, you're literally terrorizing other countries.
The fires have burned most land, and here's a bunch of
You owe me some money. Here's a bunch of advertisements. Join Smithsonian.com. Nobody want to pay for this. Oh, yeah. They always trying to get you to pay. I can't take it. Cut out Mobius yawning and the gunshots. That's not really gunshots. Fireworks.
The fires have burned more than 4.7 million hectares or 11 million acres.
Yeah. I read it was super high like that. Yeah.
And already, even though the fire season is just underway, more area has been burned than in all 3 fire seasons since modern records began in 1983.
Ridiculous.
It's pretty bad.
It's ridiculous. It's very unfortunate. So I feel like when we were growing up, we only had really heard of or was really talked about was code red and code orange because that was bad for us growing up.
She's talking about air quality, y'all.
Air quality, yeah. Man, the air quality in the DMV exceeded code red, which was high. I think it was like 300 microns of dust. I don't know. They were saying on somebody's air quality random Google website I was on. But that shit was crazy. It went to purple. That's off the charts. That was above the scale that we have for measuring, guys. It was insane. And it was hella dangerous, bro. And you could see that shit. But for real, it really was looking like 2 days after 4th of July. That's real life how it look out here.
Mm-hmm.
It's hella smoky. And ain't nothing you can do about it. It's just hella smoky.
I'll give you one better. It looked like LA in the 90s. All those movies where it's orange, smoggy orange.
You talking about orange, New York. Oh my goodness. The sky was orange. It was Agent Orange was up there too. Anyway. He fit right in. They couldn't even see him. All right. So, and speaking of Agent Orange getting indicted, what?
This is
up to 400 years. We're not going to get into that. All I'm saying is the only comment I want to make about that, literally the only comment I want to make is Biden did the same thing and he wasn't even president. He was vice president. Hillary Clinton did the same thing and she wasn't president. She was the first lady. But neither one of them got time.
Suspicious.
But Trump about to get time. And you know what Husbando said? You sound like a Trump supporter. What? Bro, I'm tired of being called a Trump supporter. He was like, you probably voted for him low key. I didn't vote for none of them. The fuck is you talking about?
No.
I voted for some local DC person. Like, what are you talking about? Oh, movie news. I only got 2 minutes. Go check out Candor, Gerald Butler. I just wanted to say that shout out to all of Gerald. The big G man stars in that movie. It was a really good movie. I just wanted to say shout out to the military, the armed forces, everybody who's given their life to protect our country. Even inside the country, we having a lot of issues with shitty police. But to the good police, thank you. That movie really kind of opened my eyes to things that I don't think about at all, which is espionage. It's not cool to kill people and not know why you're killing people. Absolutely. But it's also not cool to be convinced that you're doing something for your country and then find out it's just shiesty shit and then the person who gave you the job thinks you're disposable. So, next thing on the black news, the black entertainment news, is lit. The Blackening was a really great movie. The movie's not out yet.
I've heard good things about it.
Oh, it comes out tomorrow? I think it comes out on Thursday. Whatever. Anyway, I went to a premiere, so that's why I got to see it. And it was so good. It was so good. They touched on a lot of things like biracial issues, dark complexions. So it was deep. It's a good little funny comedy. Not much of a horror movie. Definitely a major comedy. I don't know who wrote it, but excellent job. I really enjoyed it. And now on to the tougher part of this podcast. That's what it's really about. The hard shit, man. I mean, current events is cool, but let's get into it. Yeah. So on another current event that I don't feel like it's fucking, come on. It's not even worthy of talking about. But I can't act like it didn't lead me to this very important topic that very organically came up in conversation with me and Mobius. And of course, most of the episodes are organic, right? Because it's our thoughts, our feelings, our concerns, looking around everything that's going on current event wise. But honestly, y'all, I would not have this conversation if it didn't lead to something deeper. So that's my disclaimer for talking about this whack ass shit I'm about to tell you right now.
Just what?
Everybody on Twitter is talking about Jack Harlow wearing a fucking bonnet at a soccer game. What?
Was it soccer or basketball?
It was soccer.
Oh.
It's fucking soccer. Anyway, it's super dumb. I definitely don't feel like a lot of the times, and we said this when we did the kind of episode on Kanye, like it's not, you know, celebrities is not really at all a focus, but I feel like a lot can be learned between the things that they get away with and just the atmosphere of pop culture and how it affects Black people every day. And so I think the bigger important issue here, when I went on Twitter and I saw that, first of all, I really didn't care, but I was like, what? I just wanted to see what he looked like. And I clicked on the post. And my number one favorite thing to do, I think a lot of people do, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, scroll through comments. I'm just here to see what other people are saying about these things.
I'm on my Michael Jackson with the popcorn.
With the popcorn, annoyed. So I'm about to pull it up because it was just tragic. So, okay, Daily Loud actually got it on my feed. I don't know. I guess that's like an internet news that I follow and don't even really realize it. Like, who is Daily Loud? I don't know. Anyway, so I scroll. Christopher Houghton, and he has a blue check. His Twitter handle is @motherfucking Dawn. You know, motherfucker Dawn, but you know, whatever. I ain't gonna get into the spelling. It's not that deep. So somebody had said something about like, he said, why do some Black people think they own everything? The fuck is that about? He has curly hair, bruh. Well, you know when people be like, I would invite this person to the cookout. I heard the illest shit ever. The white dude said, even if y'all invited me to the cookout, I wouldn't come because I know what it'll be like to be the only white person, or that I'm not like truly welcome in this area. Like I am the only white person here. Like I don't want to make y'all uncomfortable even though you invited me to a situation. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's just for y'all. When you find out where that came from, come back and let us know on IG. Either you know or you don't know, and it's fucking hilarious. But I think that was fucking ill. This guy, he would definitely show up at the cookout, bro. And he would wear the blackest clothes. He the type of guy that'd say he wouldn't show up at the cookout, but he would show up, and then he would put on his most... Yeah. What's the way to say that without causing problems? You know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, we don't want you there. But let him, you know, the way he responded to the next set of comments, let's get into that. So Shawty said, because we do. But y'all the ones purchasing that slave stole a country. Y'all forget about that though. Now, I felt like it was not even that deep. Like neither one of y'all, it's really not that deep. But okay, we're like, why you brought slavery into the modern conversation? Okay.
Things nobody asked.
Right. So his response, way too far. Number one, you are not a slave, never will be, and are not at all oppressed. Number two, I never owned slaves and never will. Number three, from the late 1800s all the way back to ancient Sumeria, everyone stole land by means of war. Everyone. Okay? Much different times now than the 1700s. And we're not up to leaving because this is all of our shit show. Okay, cool. At least he didn't tell us to leave the country, right? Yeah. Might as well. Number four, you have white hate in you simply because you're a bum asshole who wants handouts and thinks modern white people who never did anything wrong to you should give you free shit. Number five, go fuck yourself. Again, this is not for children, okay? Mobius, let me get your opinion on that before I dive deep and just can't stop.
So it's just one of those things like, he might have had a point, But then he started insulting people, and he started talking about slavery where it didn't belong. Like, that has nothing to do with the conversation at hand. We're talking about some clothes. We're talking about, I get his point about wanting to feel welcome and, how awkward that can be and stuff like that. But it's in good faith, right? Like, you can say no and having thought that, but then you should, if this is somebody if this is some strangers and you felt like that, cool, just stay home. But if this is somebody
stay home.
Yeah, if that's how you feel. But if this is somebody if this is somebody that's your friend, not just your one token black friend supposedly, but like, yeah, I'm friends, I'm cool with black people.
I know a single black person.
If this isn't that, then yeah, show up to the cookout. And nobody gonna give you no problems, Of course, there's some underlying, but that's with every race, That's a situation that you have to walk in as a well-adjusted American, not just a well-adjusted black or white person, but just as a well-adjusted American, you got to be prepared to deal with those situations. Where the world's melting pot. That's just the nature of being an American. All right, so deal with that. But then you started talking about stuff that I won't say it didn't matter. But in the context of this conversation, it just was inappropriate to start talking about slavery. And then to give your 2 cents like that is super dismissive. You didn't say anything groundbreaking. You didn't say anything revolutionary. You just disrespected people's feelings, which doesn't help your case. Now I'm not listening to you anymore, but, no.
Trash. Just
inappropriate.
Just unnecessary. That's what I would say. I don't know about inappropriate, but it's definitely unnecessary. Like, and I use that whole like the cookout. I used that scenario because I kind of felt like this conversation could have been a safe place. Of course, this is the internet, so there's no such thing. I get it, but this could have been a safe place for black people to really take a look at themselves. Like, we need to do a self-evaluation and have this conversation amongst ourselves. And that's kind of what me and Mobius are like basically going to do, because we're going to bring in a black person's opinion. Like, fuck with this guy who's a jerk off. Fuck what he thinks. But first, let me take a go at his 5 points. You are not a slave. Okay? Obviously, slavery was how many years ago? And actually still happening all over the world.
Legally.
But in the United States, no, that may not necessarily be a big issue that needs to be dealt with or
prison
resolved.
industrial complex.
You say what?
For the prison industrial complex. That's modern day slavery right there.
Well, yeah. So I mean, and I was gonna say this on Twitter, but obviously it's, there's a particular kind of conversation happening in this online cookout that the white man joined into. And of course, we're not racist. We're all for everybody joining in and having the conversation. But again, like Mobius said, bring your brain to the conversation, because you're not doing anything but proving the reason why we have this fucked up, or proving that you have something to do with, you and your ancestors, because now you've made yourself a part of something that actually, like you said, I don't own slaves. Right, but the way you talking right now, your white hood is poking through, boo. Your white hood is poking through. This is not the time and the place to come at people all reckless, especially about a fucking bonnet. Like, and we already acknowledged the young lady, the brown young lady's comment about it. It wasn't necessary. It wasn't necessary. It wasn't necessary. But it is what it is. She said how she felt. She felt like a certain way. And that's what I feel like I really want to get into, of like, why do we feel this way? Like, why do we feel so connected and so hurt by a bonnet? Like, why is this such a triggering conversation? Because motherfuckers come back talking shit like this. Okay. You never own slaves. Okay. What Mobius said. Everybody is a slave in the United States. It's a fucking trick. Mm-hmm. You don't know it. Well, then you're dumb. Or not. I'm sorry. You're not dumb. You're just a little slow. Everybody's catching on. Misinformed. 2, you never own slaves and you never will. wonderful for you. But really, yeah, I mean, a lot of it, the wars is justifiable. And I'm going to take part 1 and part 4. Part 4 is you have white hate simply because, and then he starts getting into things that you don't even know about this person. You just talking shit on the internet. So part 1, we are actually still being oppressed. If we're just going to focus on African Americans, brown people, Indian from overseas, and Native Americans, and all the shades of Hispanic and Latinos in this country, we are very much still being oppressed, male or female, being treated less than a person, being treated like we don't belong, still being told to go back to where we came from. Even though in COVID we seen Asian oppression. Like, it don't matter. You could be the lightest color shade of something. If you ain't pale pink, and your ass is gonna get it. And so just in regard to the hospital system, black women, brown women are being targeted when it comes to giving them medical care that they deserve. We are not getting it. And me firsthand experienced it when I was in the hospital. And so I know what it's like. I absolutely know what it's like to be ignored because you are brown and you are in need. If that's not oppression, we got the most deaths, they say, in the United States of America when it comes to giving birth. Why is that? Why is that?
Lack of appropriate health care due to racism, just neglect, government shenanigans and interference, all of the above.
But then when we do got the health care, because we talking about dying in the hospital, my health care paid for it. You want to treat me like shit? I go to the eye place, treat me like shit because the type of insurance I got.
Yep.
Go to the dentist, treat me like shit because the type of insurance I got. It's just this is absolutely insane. The maternal mortality rate for 2014 to 2018 is the number of residents and the total number of residents in live birth during these years multiplied by 100,000. In 5 years, 23.1 deaths per 100,000 live births. And there's like hundreds and thousands, obviously, of people being born between 2014 and 2018. Come on. That's ridiculous. 23 people? It may not sound like a lot to y'all, but I look at it like this. It's people in third world countries who's giving birth and without hospitals and they're living. So there's an absolute reason. There's got to be some type of madness if you in a safe environment. And I said this before, probably on our don't take drugs episode or something. When I was in pharmacy school, they said the number one cause of death in the United States is hospital error. And we wasn't even just talking about African Americans or brown people or tan people. No, we talking about the number one cause of death. So you could have went to the hospital, and we talked about this when it came to the jab. You could have went to the hospital for A, and then they going to say you died from B, C, and D. What? That don't even... Matter of fact, they going to say you died from A, but you really died from B, C, and D. That ain't had nothing to do with you. Hospital error. Yep. Why did they teach me this in medical school? Come on now. This is the facts they teaching us. I ain't making it up. I'm not over here just trying to point the finger. But at the end of the day, we are absolutely oppressed. And so when you think about just this level of oppression, like Mobius said, everybody is slaves. So it's easier to look around and dismiss it. Oh, racism don't exist. Oh, they not targeting me because I'm black. Oh, we make all the excuses in the world because we love our country or we love our government or we think somebody has our, best interest in mind. We make all of these excuses. But at the end of the day, something is not right. And that is why there's white hate. That's why there's self-hate. That's why we're dealing with all of these eternal issues, trying to get through and get over shit that just don't make no damn sense. It just don't make no sense. Why we living in fear? Why we confused? Why we... it's too many things. And it's not right. And it shouldn't be like this. But what can we do about it? Because it's so deeply embedded in everything that we've been through. It's too deeply embedded, bro. Come on now. Just because I wasn't a slave, and somebody did make this comment. Just because I wasn't a slave doesn't mean that my family members who were enslaved, that are either still alive or messages was passed down to them, messages such as self-hate because the color of your skin. It's not just that you're black, but you're too black. Your skin is too dark. You know, some things that the blackening movie actually touches on, you know, or being biracial, you know, being the child from the rape from the slave master. All of these things. Come on now. There's a reason why. When it clicks through our head, some of us turn into some real extremists.
Mm-hmm.
Black Panther Party. Y'all had the fucking FBI watching them. Just like Malcolm X. Just like Martin Luther King. You scared. You scared if we find out the truth that we are going to retaliate. But see, this is my whole thing. I think that we need to be searching for inner peace. What are we retaliating against? The one thing I agree is that you said this is all of our fucked up country. Well, I'm happy that you feel that way after all of these years and whatever your ancestors may or may not have done to aid and abet the sin and criminal activity that happened to African Americans. Either you know or you don't know, and I don't know your business. So I ain't gonna make an ass of myself. I'm just saying. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, like,
because your hood is showing, young guys.
Just don't be dismissive about it.
Absolutely. And so it's just, you know, it really brings us to the deeper issue that we kind of want to get into. And I'm just going to throw one more opinion out of there. So the first thing when I heard this whole bonnet thing, I'm like, what? Bonnets? Are we still talking about this? Like, this is so 2021. When the whole situation came out about Monique and the bonnets. And so when I brought this to Mobius, I said, you know what? I heard this, and that happen. But let me go listen to the video. Because the one thing for sure we do not like to do is to just do the hearsay. If we going to tell you some hearsay, it's going to be from an allegedly reputable source. You know, not just something that somebody literally said to me. Like, I want to hear it from her own mouth. She posted video footage, and this is 2023. I'm able to find it. So we found it. We listened to it. I was confused about why everybody was talking reckless about Monique. How did you feel initially when you heard like where she was coming from? Based on what, you know, how I told you, everybody was like, oh, it's ridiculous. Why is she talking reckless?
I generally hold my tongue. I didn't feel like she did anything or said anything too crazy. I felt like, especially given what's happening with Andrew Tate and his recent interview and stuff like that, the BBC, all that stuff, like, there's some spin to it, right? Like, it wasn't just, well, you said it was a series of videos, but when you first described it, you described it as just one. And so, okay, well, what else what exactly did she say? What's being taken out of context here?
Right.
And so, you know, then we sat down and listened to it, and it was like she had some very well thought out, reasonable stuff.
Yeah.
Some of it can be chalked up to just, hey, look, just mind your business. Cool. You know, black people love to say that, just mind your business. But
right.
we also have to hold ourselves accountable and be better and to lift each other up by saying, hey, you know, we all, there's always somebody going, you know, some old head going, oh man, you know, young timer, lift up your pants, you know, don't have your underwear show,
right.
stuff like that.
Right.
So this is
Good
that.
point.
This is that for women. She's saying, hey, look, you know, I get stuff is happening. I get you might just gotta go down the street real quick. You know, you might just have a lazy day. But for everyone out in the world interacting, you know, why are you essentially naked? Why are you, you know, in
not
your
at
underwear?
your best.
Right. You know.
Why are you not presentable? Because she gave a story about how, you know, how she grew up. And it really ain't even no fucking story. She's talking about her real life. And I can't act like my grandmother wasn't the same way. You got me smashed up. Even if you ain't got no clothes, you wash them same drawers you had on, hand wash them. We gonna throw your clothes in the washing machine. Even if you wear the same outfit for the next 10 days. You ain't gotta stink though. Mm-hmm. You can still look nice in that same outfit. It can still be clean. You could be clean. Your hair's done. Come on now. And so the story that she shared was when she was a child, her father never let her leave the house if she was anything less than looking appropriate. Well, guess what? Ain't nothing wrong with that. And so just like Mobius said, she said, we gotta, come on now. It's real easy to say mind your business, but where are the people who are going to set the example for our culture and remind us of who we really should be? There are some people out here who are still traumatized from their parents and grandparents for being involved in slavery. But then there are other people who are just determined regardless to listen, to uplift, to open your eyes, to want better for you regardless. That's a lot, bro. That's a lot, and that's few and far between. And so I don't think she said anything wrong. And again, it brought us to the main point of, or my question for today's topic of, where is our pride? You know, like this bonnet thing, we could make it a really simple conversation, but that's not what she made it about. It's not a simple conversation. Why do you want to leave out the house and look like, no, why are you okay with looking like you don't care about yourself? Because that's absolutely the vibe that you're giving. You're giving, why bother? You're giving, you know, who checking for me, boo? And so, you know, there's a couple things I told Mobius. I felt like we had to bring it into context, you know, before we get too deep into blackness. We had to bring it into the context of COVID, right? Everybody was locked in the house. There was no reason to get dressed. There was no reason to look nice. There was no reason to try, right? It was a perfect time for you to just give up. Shit was hard. People was, killing themselves. The suicide rate in children went up immensely. You know, so it's understanding because you're not like, and that's why the pride thing is deep, because it's not about putting yourself together for somebody else. I feel like that's what it's about nowadays. If I'm not at the club, if I'm not online, if I'm not going live, if I'm not about to post, if somebody's not about to see me, why you gotta be seen to brush your teeth and wash your face? Why you gotta be seen to wash your ass? Why you gotta be seen to decide to take the bonnet off and actually do your hair? Why are we buying all this weave? I talked about this years ago. Why are we buying all this weave instead of taking care of our own hair? Yeah, the game is rigged against us because a lot of the hair products are designed to make our hair fall out, and Procter & Gamble just got fucked up over that. They just got exposed. Let me say that. They just got exposed because their really expensive hair care products was making our hair fall out. Excuse me, everybody's hair. But you know what it's about. Why you think they tell us don't shampoo your hair all the time? Because it's going to dry your hair out. It's not made for us for real. But why we not giving that same energy? We watching 50 YouTube videos learning how to sew in a wig and put on some weave and do a lace front instead of learning how to manage your own hair. Yeah, you know our hair can grow down our ass too.
I'm going to be honest. I don't like that look.
You don't like what?
The weave look. It's everywhere. Like,
yeah.
I'm not a fan of how it looks. And all the styles are pretty much the same. And it always looks bad. Like, some people can really do it up, you know? But it always
you talk about with the wigs?
Yeah.
I mean, but you gotta look at it like this. You see thousands and thousands of people at a time when you work at the stadium. You know what I'm saying? So you're really you're seeing so many examples is what I'm saying, like, of just why. And that's another thing. They spend like $200 on this wig. They don't want to you don't even want to do the wig. Why you want the wig? You don't want to do the wig. You don't want to do your hair. Like, what is the point and the purpose? Where is your pride? How did your mama raise you? Like, come on. Again, you can't blame COVID for all this shit. This shit is absurd. Like, when are we going to have this pride in ourselves and not give up? And so, Mobius basically was like, okay, I don't really know too much about Bonnets, but he had some comments, yoga pants. That was some issues years ago where people was like, why are you just wearing exercise clothes like everywhere you going? Like, are you going to exercise? Now, I came into the movement pretty late. Not at all while they were saying this, because I was a denim girl. I've been a denim girl like all my life. I love really good denim. But, gaining weight, having a baby, I start to see how easy it is. And then, of course, now it's called leggings. It's not really yoga pants anymore. And it's like, they literally turned it into an everyday thing. But, like, the same thing could be said for Crocs. Like,
at least, like, so here's my thing, right? At least when people were wearing sweatpants everywhere, like, you can actually do things in sweatpants. Sure, you can do things in leggings, kind of yoga pants. Like, they're interchangeable at this point, but they're not meant, besides some exercise, some light exercise, some quick travel and stuff, but just
walking,
like Crocs,
biking,
but just like, or just kind of performance comfort wear, But like, people were like, when you start seeing it at Home Depot, when you start seeing it in the applications of like people,
just say Home Depot. Mobius is disturbed. He saw somebody working at Home Depot with some leggings on. He was like, "What are we doing?"
That's not the
what
environment.
Did you give up?
That's not the environment.
Leggings and Crocs working at Home Depot.
That's not. Even if you're standing behind the counter, that's all your job. That's all you're supposed to do. That's not the environment.
What happened to slacks? What happened to khakis?
At Home Depot, you better wear some
khakis,
some jeans.
If you're just standing behind the cash register, you sound crazy, Mobius.
Some jeans, basically something that will protect you from the environment of Home Depot. You're not just You're not just standing there. People are moving stuff around you at all times. Even when the store closed. Like you're still doing stuff that isn't just standing there at the cash register. You got to move stuff. You got to oversee people moving stuff. And there's a lot of screws and wood and nails and a bunch of shit that, can hurt you. It's the same.
Mobius said, I'm trying to protect y'all.
I'm just saying, there's a time and place.
And that's what I was about to say. Mobius' biggest point is there's a time and place for everything. And y'all got that shit backwards as hell.
I feel like people are gonna listen to 2 or 3 words. Because I'm a guy, so women are gonna listen to 2 words I have to say and be like, "It's not your place to do that." Sure, it's not, and I acknowledge that. But
it's your body.
Yeah, you can
do what you want. Wear what you want to do.
You can do what you want,
but just look like you give a crap. Like, brush your hair, brush your teeth. Act like you got some pride about yourself. And this conversation, like Mobius said, don't be like, oh, he a dude, blah, 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 I'm not doing that for him. No, we're talking about pride. It's about yourself. Like, that's what people need to really get through their head. Like, it's about yourself. Like, you are worthy. She made one more comment. My husband told me, she said, when I first started working out, because Monique used to be kind of big, I would just wear anything because I'm thinking, hey, I'm not going for nobody to see me. I'm going to do this workout. Don't nobody want to go to the gym until you turn into a real gym rat. You're not there because you want to be there. You there because you feel shitty about yourself and you want to do better. Like, of course, partially you want to be there, but don't nobody want to fucking work out until you just gym rat status. Anyway, her husband said to her, baby, maybe if you look good, you will feel good. That's some cliche ass real talk though. That's some real talk. And I swear it's in those moments when you feel your shittiest and somebody say some real shit like that It registers. It really fucking registers. You are worthy. You do not have to look the way you feel. It's also in the Bible. Everybody ain't supposed to know your business. If you upset and you struggling and you going through hardships in life, that's supposed to be between you, your family, and your God. That's it. Everybody don't need to know you miserable and you down bad and you hate life. It's people literally out here looking for you so they can take advantage of you for that reason. Come on now. We got to do better. We got to stop putting our business out on the internet and expecting them to cheer us up and to make us feel better. It got to be something deeper inside of you that motivates you to try again, to do better, to not give up, to want more for yourself than what you already have.
It also turns into getting rid of the excuses. Like if you leave the house unprepared because who cares, right? You know?
Yeah. Because who cares?
Then when things happen, good or bad,
right,
then your only response to that is I can't because I'm not ready. I can't because I mean look at me, right? I gotta go home and get ready, and then it just turns into you just staying in the house. Whereas
excuse after excuse after excuse. Yeah.
Whereas if you just want to go home, even if you're ready, that's your business too. You made the decision to, not because you weren't ready, you weren't prepared, but because you're just a homebody. You're just because you felt like going home. You know, it's your quiet Sunday. Don't let nobody disturb your peace. But if you're like, you know, just crazy outdoor wear, not outdoor wear, but just basically indoor wear all the time. The bonnet, for guys, the do-rag. There's a conversation about that.
Yeah,
dudes wear Crocs too.
Right, yeah.
All just the pajama pants everywhere, like that's dudes do this stuff too. So it's not just us being critical on women.
Right, and time and place. And we talked about that. College culture. Wearing pajamas. You live on a college campus
or a town, college town.
Sometimes you was turning up last night. You're peeling yourself up out that bed to go to class. Yep. You are peeling yourself up. Mm-hmm. This is real life out here. We respect it. We're not, trying to judge nobody or put nobody down. Our whole point of this conversation is to uplift you. We love you. I don't know who you are or where you at, but I want you to love yourself. And as a first-time mom, just had a baby, I know I'm learning what it feels like to literally have to tell yourself you're worthy of the most basic self-care.
Look at it this way. So I was working somewhere, and this guy asked me how my day was. It was a nice day, but American vernacular. We just we don't. I mean, maybe nowadays people like to brag about stuff, but just general purpose. Don't want to be bothered. Good nature Americans is, hey, how's your day, man? Not bad. How about you? I'm pretty good, thanks. And then you just kind of keep it moving. You're not really starting a whole conversation about it. You're not really investigating into how somebody really is doing. It maybe if you fish a little bit more, it can turn into that. But basically, it's just, I'm okay and you, in so many words. Yeah. And when I said that, he was like, well, you shouldn't really say that. You should say you're doing good or you're doing okay, because saying you're not doing bad implies that you're normally doing bad, or that you're just at one point you were doing bad and now you're doing better. That's not.
You're stuck in that mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same as
absolutely the power of your words.
Yeah, it's the same as at least in the black community. Instead of saying you're poor, you say you're broke, because being poor.
I'm broken down.
Yeah.
I'm hurt more ways than one.
Yeah. Whereas you're broke is just a standing, a temporary standing.
These words are powerful.
Yeah. You can say it doesn't really carry that much weight, or it doesn't really matter. Yeah. And in the grand scheme of things, sure.
Witchcraft.
Yeah.
Witchcraft.
Well, there's that, but in the grand scheme of things.
No, I'm just saying the power of your words, the power of your tongue.
Yeah.
Witchcraft.
So in the grand scheme of things, it's not really as bad it's not as that big of a deal, sure, but it's a good way to just move forward.
Self-reflection.
Right? Self-reflection, stoicism. It's well, how do you guys you're depressed and you're beaten down and you need to know, people always ask guys like, aren't you sad? Aren't you? Yeah, but I can't. No, I'm a guy. No one cares until, something needs to get fixed or broken or go to war or die or scare something away. Like, you just got to carry on. You got to push on, and that's the nature of being a man. And so for women,
and not to say that it's okay,
yeah,
at all,
but that's the reality. That's
yeah.
the reality of the human condition right now, and so
especially with this alphabet shenanigans.
Yeah, so
women don't matter, men don't matter.
For womanhood, it's you gotta, whatever your purpose is, whatever that general calling for womanhood is, it would probably behoove you to take it a little bit more seriously. Like me and Shady were talking about people over relying and overusing the word king and queen and all the other titles.
It sound good as hell.
Yeah.
You woke now, shenanigan, vernacular.
Yeah, all that, and it doesn't mean, it loses its purpose if you're not going to literally embody what that means, the responsibilities of a kingship, and it is
walk
being
that
legal.
walk. Y'all are not being chivalrous to these women. Y'all talking down to these women.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all are degrading these women. And you are using her as a sex object because you can.
And to be fair, like just like the president, there are bad presidents, there are bad kings, there are bad leaders, people in positions of power and authority that don't deserve it. But at its bare, at the bare minimum, like you have to understand that, and so when somebody calls you their king or their queen,
earn it. I
personally don't like it. Don't call me that. I have a name. I haven't earned it until I do. Earn it. It makes you feel good when you do. It makes people respect you when you do. It makes you respect yourself, and that's a good way to get self-reflection. It's a good way to move forward. I thought that was some corn. Like a big thing of corn. Yeah.
And I can't even.
I was just like,
This.
She got a big old bottle of, what's that, margarita?
Yeah.
But yeah.
The baby's not here, guys.
No. So, yeah, just do better. Take care of yourselves. Just try a little harder.
All right, so 2 things before we close it out. We just wanted to make sure that you guys recognize the bad habits that has been plaguing our community, as being like generations, or I guess descendants of slaves is the right way to put it. Many causes of low self-esteem, unhappy childhood, okay, where the people in your life were extremely critical, poor academic performance in school as a result of a lack of confidence. Okay. Well, let me say what I want to say, since I'm trying to roll through this quickly. Slavery, right? Unhappy childhood, obviously during slavery. Poor academic performance. They would beat us, kill us, and torture us, and keep us away from gaining knowledge. Reading books was a punishment. Slavery, okay. Ongoing stressful life events such as relationship breakdown, financial trouble. Oh, okay. Slavery. Poor treatment from a partner, a parent, career, abusive relationships. Oh, slave and master abuse, being used as a sexual object, having your family split apart and being sold, and then later coming to find out that your brother lived at the farm that they sold your brother to. You ain't even know you had a brother, and then they made you mate with your brother. That's a whole psychological study of something that absolutely really happened. Who was touching my Xbox? My computer. This is weird. Okay. Ongoing medical problems such as chronic pain, serious illness, disability. Come on now.
Was it freezing?
No, it's like being weird. Okay. Mental illness such as an anxiety disorder or depression. Come on. All of this stuff sounds like low self-esteem during slavery, and that can very much be passed down. There's other statements they made, like talking to yourself, putting yourself down, doing all of these things. Okay, I can't get to it. So, I want to end on a positive note, and I just want people to recognize, like, if you're going through this, if you notice anybody in your life who has dealt with those type of issues, be less critical, be more caring, be more attentive, be a shoulder to cry on, be supportive, remind them that they are worthy, remind them that they deserve love, remind them, like, we got to be able to do better, we got to be able to help each other. And so a mantra, peace and meditation within yourself. For me, that would be, praying, Bible study, talking to God. What's your version of peace and meditation, Mobius?
I just take naps.
This guy. One of the recommendations on the government website in Australia, get some exercise. Don't drink and do drugs, because it's not going to make your problems go away. It's just going to enhance them, actually, because you just keep putting them on the back burner, or you get all twisted and you come up with even worse, shittier fucking ideas of things to do to make you an even worse human. Mm-hmm. Watch what you eat. There is a lot of studies that the sweets cause even worse ADD, watching too much TV, too much cell phone, laptop screen time. You got to get off them social medias. Yeah, it's a reason why people are having literal retreats where nobody can have their cell phone. Not because it's a wild orgy going on and they don't want no evidence. No, nigga, it's deeper than that. Like, come on.
I mean, maybe if you live in LA.
Hey, oh my goodness. This guy just came for the West Coast. Real talk. Anyway. There's a lot of things you can do.
I want to piggyback off that. So, I was reading something, self-worth and stuff like that. I can't remember what the exact phrasing was, but it was basically like a comparison between the East and the West Coast and how people are nice and versus kind and what that means. And so, someone who is nice will bend over backwards, even though they might not exactly want to. They're literally putting other people's worth and interests above their own and stuff. Versus someone who's kind, who might still be willing to help you, or listen to your problems, or just kind of be a upstanding civilian, I guess, whatever. But they're not going to bend over backwards to the detriment of themselves to do it, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, don't sacrifice yourself.
Right.
I mean, there is a level in which you should, obviously, to be really coming from your heart.
Yeah, but the difference between being nice and kind was, especially in as regards to the East versus West, was someone on the West Coast might be exceedingly nice to you. They'll be very nice, but ultimately they won't do what they don't want to do, or they'll do it to the detriment of themselves, dangerously so, right?
Yeah, but that's anywhere, I would think. Maybe I've experienced that in Florida, and that's obviously a really shit place to even expect any good people to be at. But there's good people everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah. But this was like I don't want to say
it was a widespread kind of situation.
Yeah. And so the example they gave was like in LA or just somewhere on the West Coast, if you get a flat tire, somebody might go, "Oh man, that sucks," and they'll give you a number to call. They'll give you a time of day. They'll even throw a bottle of water at you. But if you go, "Hey man, can you help me change this real quick?" They're gonna go, "Oh man, that sucks," and they'll drive away.
Well, on the East Coast?
On the West Coast. That's the logic that this place provided. But then on the East Coast, somebody, especially in New York, especially in the northern cities, Boston, New York,
but in the house, that's why in the South, not in the house. That's why it's called Southern hospitality.
Yeah. But
it just depends. I don't know. To me, it just depends on where you.
Well, no. So Southern hospitality, that's just them. But what this article was saying was like in New York, they'll be kind. They'll curse you out and be like, "Are you retarded? Why you got a flat tire? You don't know how to change your tire? Who taught you? Where's your dad? What's going on?" And then they'll change it for you.
But they're gonna talk to you recklessly.
Yep. and you're
Bruh,
gonna feel some
right.
type of way. You're gonna be tight, but then they're gonna change the type. Like, yeah, that's good as new. You need to get your fucking life together. All right, bing bong, I'm gone. You know,
bing bong, I'm
gone. So
damn.
that's something I'm trying to work on myself. Is like nice versus kind. Right? Being a nice guy and bending over backwards to help and do anything, not necessarily to the detriment, but just overextending, you know? And so, you know, we've got family, we've got siblings, and eventually you got to learn how to say no. And we've learned how to say no in regards to certain people.
And it hurts.
Yeah. And so
the more you love a person,
the more it hurts.
It really hurts. If it's really in your heart to be like that for real.
Right.
Like, yeah.
But that goes more with being kind versus being nice. Being nice, you'll just give them what they want. Being kind, this one's broken. Being kind, you'll go. Yeah. The other one's in the room.
Okay. My bad. I had a malfunction. I don't know. Verb, adverbs. Verbs, adverbs. But yeah, you were saying that that's something that you was working on.
Yeah, like just
deciding where on the scale is like a safe place, or what do you mean?
Well, no, just shifting to, instead of being nice, regardless of who, what, when, where, and why, to be more kind. You know, to continue to be kind, not just nice.
Oh, not just nice and burn yourself out.
Right.
And then be like, I hate the world now because I was too nice to the wrong person.
Right.
Yeah,
and that's what happens to a lot of people.
Yeah, you know. Yeah. You know, I thought it was really sick. Oprah Winfrey said if you see somebody that needs some help or something, don't help them. And I don't remember it was like give them food or something. Mm-hmm. Whatever it is, she was like, don't help them because they'll rob you or try to kill you. Or no, criminals will rob you or kill you.
Right.
People who are real genuinely in need are not going to do that. So, I mean, you know, there's a difference between being scammed and being tricked and taken advantage of. And, like, there's all different levels to it. And I think you just pointed it out with the nice versus kind.
It's the difference between teaching somebody to fish versus just giving them what they want. Because then they can't take care of themselves. It's the guy on the street going, hey, man, I'm hungry. Can you give me something to eat? And instead of giving them just $20, you go, hey, yeah, all right, it's hot. You want to get some water? Or it's cold. Here's some coffee. And I got you a sandwich and stuff. Now, whether they eat it or do anything with it, that's not really the point.
Right, yeah.
You know, you felt that's not the point. That's you felt compelled to do something, but you didn't do it in a reckless way or the way that you would feel some type of way. It's the same with if somebody asks you for something, regardless of your relationship with them, don't give them what you're prepared to not get back. Right. So if you're like, hey, can I borrow $20 for gas? Even on your worst day ever, $20 is $20. You can get that back. But if you're like, hey, I need $100, yeah, that hurts. You know, if you don't get that back, you're going to feel some type of way. You can earn that back, and you should probably be okay.
That shit, losing ass Drake.
What? Don't give up what you're not prepared to.
No, but I mean, he said it like the same point.
Yeah,
he was like, and I don't let people borrow money because I need that shit right back. Something like that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's a threshold of if I gave somebody $20 up to basically up to about $90. If I never saw that person again, I'm going to feel some type of way. But ultimately, you can probably forgive them without too much headache, too much stress. Yeah. Whereas anything over that, yeah, you're probably going to be hunting down. You know.
Tight.
So
you know what it is, man. It's the unknown unknowns. Thank you for joining us, talking about these deep conversations. Like we said, we always try to end on a positive note. So just do your best to find the genuine you. Don't burn yourself out. You know, if you see people exhibiting low self-esteem in their life, you know, negative feelings, relationship problems, fear of trying, try to be that uplifting person in their life, you know, and not to your detriment. Yeah. Nice or kind, you know, but also think about this. You and that, what they call the contagious, that's not the word I want to say, but the contagious positivity. Mm-hmm. That's nice. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
You know, if you can't offer nobody nothing else, an ear,
smile and wave,
you know, uplifting, you know, hey, do your makeup today, do your hair today, clean yourself up. Well, maybe you did. Oh, you look nice. Like, you know, remind that person that they are worthy and they are worth it. Self-care is important. You deserve it to take this time and spend it by yourself and reflect and look in the mirror and look at you and be proud of yourself. These things will make you feel better about yourself. And so me personally, I had to try to do that. I had somebody who does that for me. I appreciate you. Shout out to Rip, who's probably never going to hear this. But he sent me positive text messages 2 or 3 times a week. One time I was feeling so mad, depressed, I had to go back and read his text messages. And you know what I decided to do? Just send them out to random people that I cared about.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just because it felt good for me to try to make somebody else feel better than how I felt. Even one person saying, "Oh, thanks, man," or "That's cool,
yeah,
great, have a good day too."
You know, that's kind of why my speech is the way it is. I watch a lot of anime, and a lot of that talks about isolationism and being left alone and the lack of acknowledgement and stuff. Wow. And so at some point, you know, in the last...
Sounds pretty depressing.
Yeah. In the last 5, 6, 7 years, at some point I started adding like a, hey, welcome home, you know, I'll see you when you get back type. You know, it's the same with like, instead of saying, hey, we don't say goodbye, we say see you later, because goodbye is final. Right. You know, it's the same logic behind that. Like, I don't know who needs to hear it, but saying welcome home to someone, you know, any place is a house, but home is where the heart is where your family is where your friends is. Even if you don't physically live there, it's not your government address.
I want you to feel safe.
I want you to feel good here, man. When you come to my house and you open the front door, which should have been locked, but if it just happens to be open, I'm not going, hey, who that is? Hey, it should have been locked. The door should have been locked. But anyway, welcome home. There is no pause. There is no, you know, it's a place to rest. And so if you don't feel that at your place of residence, whether you're alone physically or because the people
mental,
you were with,
physical issues that you're dealing with,
it's not a place to rest, then you got to find that.
Yeah,
you know, find someone
no matter
who's going to tell you. It doesn't have to be a woman. Find somebody who's going to tell you, welcome home, man. You know, that feels nice. Give you a pat on the back and share a beer.
This nigga is so LGBTQ. It don't got to be a lady. It's like, what? It don't have to be opposite sex. Like, it don't have to be a romantic relationship.
Yeah.
You know, I would like to think everybody's met at least one good person in their life. Like, make sure you keep that person close. Make sure you don't take that person for granted. Make sure you don't take advantage of that person. You know what I'm saying? Like, it should be bigger than, oh, you ain't called me this week or last week. Nah, like, reach out to people and let them know that you care.
Yeah.
You know what it is. It's unknown unknowns.
The labs we out here.
We out here cooking up positivity for the July.
Once again, shout out to Ant-Man for sticking on a little longer with us.
Yeah, thank you for your time and your energy and just contributing in each and every way. Just, you know, be a reminder to yourself of how integral you have been and that we appreciate it. So, anybody want to come on the episode, you already know. Hit me on Xbox. Hit me on IG. Hit us on YouTube in the comment section. We do pay attention and we appreciate y'all.